Apple and Google have announced that they are looking at using the data from phone locations to help with surveillance and health tracking for public health purposes. What are the different types of considerations with something like that, both in the US and internationally? And what are some of the trade-offs between privacy and public health that are being discussed from both an ethical and legal standpoint?
Yeah, just from a broader legal, for a broader legal perspective, the U.S. doesn't have any, you know, we often talk about a right to privacy, but in terms of legal rights to privacy, those are very ephemeral in American law. We have nothing like the GDPR as a federal law. There are states that have some, you know, have a better, well, you know, defined legal rights of privacy. You know, actually, it would disrupt many business plans and business processes if we had more well-defined rights to privacy in the United States, because you know a lot of the targeted advertising that goes on the internet is tied to you know data that you don't know you're giving people. So in general, I would say unless there's some restriction on your what you can do with people's information, there's very little that abrogates what we consider to be a privacy right in the law. So you know the restrictions include you know those more specific jurisdictions like in Europe with the GDPR, where there are things you cannot do with people's information, and that's very well you know defined. And in California and a couple other jurisdictions where the laws are more well defined. So just to bring it back to the example you raised, Sean, with Apple and Google. You know, if you're using cell phone data to track people's movements, you know, and it's not, you know, it's not being published in some way that can identify an individual and their health data, you're allowed to do that under the law in the United States for any number of purposes, including targeted advertising, for instance. This is, you know, as I said, the basis for billions of dollars worth of commerce.